Hey YouTube, I am back again. Can you imagine it? Not 1 year later, but 1 week later. Well, let's see. Today I think I'll do a finite state machine, but we're going to do a really quick and easy one. We're just going to use code. We'll use an enum and then just some if statements basically, and a match case. And that's all. I'm trying to avoid using nodes. I know a lot of other YouTubers like to add a bunch of nodes and do their finite state machine that way. For me, that's kind of messier than just having more code. Although one downside, I guess, of mine is that I won't be able to check when the state is entered or left, or check what the previous state was. I probably could do that with more code, but for now I just want to keep it really simple, so none of that. I'm gonna basically make a enum to store our states in, and we'll call it let's just call it enum state. And the states we want are, of course, idle. What else do we want? We want a running right and a running left. We'll also want a jumping and a falling state. Oh, sorry, I kind of declared this enum wrong. This should be like this. Sorry. Okay. And we'll store the current state in another variable. So let's make that. Let's just call it current state, because that makes sense. And for default, we'll set it to idle. Okay, so those will be our states. We'll need a way to set them and also check them. So I think to do that, we already have a update state function. We'll make another function called update animation, because basically we're just going to use these states to set the player's animation. Sorry, update animation. From now, let's just leave that empty. And it'll run after this. Okay, so first we'll need to actually set the state based on what's happening to the player. So we'll basically just be checking his position, if he's touching the ground or not, and his velocity, and then we'll decide which state he's in. So we've already got a variable that checks his raycasts on his feet to see if he's on the ground. So we've got that already done, so we know if he's not on the ground or if he is on the ground. And let's actually check that first of all. So if he can jump, we know he's in the air. Then the only possibilities are, sorry, if he can jump, he's on the ground. So the only possibilities are running left, right, and idle. So if his velocity, sorry, linear velocity dot x is 0, then it means he's standing still. If that's the case, we'll set his state to idle. Else, if he's, let's see, if his x velocity is greater than 0, that means he's running to the right. So then we can set that. I'll just copy and paste to save some time. And if his linear velocity dot x is less than 0, then he must be running left. So that's all he can do on the ground at the moment. So if he's in the air, so if he can't jump, basically, he must be in the air. And then we'll just check if his linear velocity, but in the y direction this time, is less than 0. So in Godot, y is negative going up. So if it's less than 0, he must be jumping. And else if his linear velocity in the y direction is greater than 0, then he must be falling. And that's it really to set his state, just checking his velocity and if he's on the ground or not. Now that we have his state, we can actually update his animation, although we don't have any animations as yet. To test this, I'm just going to add a label. I could print to the console here, but for some reason I like using labels, so I'll just add a label to the player and I'll check his state using a match statement. So I'll check his current state, and if it matches enum state.idle, then we'll play the idle animation, but for now we'll just set the label text to idle. Oh, sorry, what am I doing? If he is running, why do I not find running here? What have I done? I made a mistake somewhere. 1 second. I have running right. It should work. Why is it not picking it up? Oh, I think the editor was just stuck. I'll just click here right to keep it short. And if he is running left, I'll just set it to left. If he is jumping, set it to jumping. And if he is falling, I'll set the text to falling. Something seems off. I wonder if this is going to run. What have I done? Have I made a mistake on every single one? What is the function for this? Is it set? No. Text seems to be right. Why is it complaining? Non-existent function-based label. Property text. I'm not setting. I'm passing it a parameter instead of setting the. Done this wrong. It's not a function. Silly me. Okay. It's just a property. My mistake. Okay, now it should work. Okay, so he's idling, he's moving left, he's moving right, he's jumping, and he's falling. Okay. That all works fine. We can check what state he's in, and we can run code depending on that state. So we don't actually need this label anymore. We can get rid of it, and we're going to replace all of this with an animation. So let's add an animated sprite 2D. That'll do. should we call this? Player sprite. This will be fine. Okay, and I have actually already prepared my terrible pixel art. So you'll need your own animations for your character. Why not in here somewhere? There we go. Let's do idle first. So how many frames would that have for idle? 6 frames. Let's just call this idle. We'll set that to autoplay. And let's make a new one for running. We only need one for running because I've only got one set of sprites. And I'll just flip it if he runs the other way. Let's see. Blind. Oh, there we go, run. Make this a bit faster, I think it's a bit too slow. We'll set it to 10, we want it to loop as well. And all we need are jumping and falling. Now these two we don't want to loop actually, I want his jump animation to get stuck when he reaches the peak. And then to only change when he starts falling again. Let's see, we've got our sprites here. Don't know why it doesn't show me the list unless I go out and back in. Okay, jumping. 8 frames for jumping. And falling. Only 4 frames for falling. I'm not sure why I made it like that, but anyway. Okay, we've got everything in here. And let's just make a variable for this. Let's put it here. And we'll call it player sprite as well. And we'll set that to our 2D. And now if he is idle, we can play idle. I know I've got right and left separate here, but I'll have to flip them elsewhere in a second. Running will be the same for left and right. To save some time, and this will be jumping, and falling. Okay, I could actually flip the sprites in here, but it acts a bit strange because whenever his velocity changes, this will update. I actually prefer to flip them here when the key is pressed. Seems quite a bit more stable that way. Let's see. Is this right? No. We'll use the scale property and set it to -1. So flip it this way, and we'll set it to 1 to flip it the other way. Oh, okay, the moment of truth. Let's hope this works. Hey, it does, although he's kind of in the ground there. I think I need to move his sprite up a little bit. Yeah, he's lower than he should be. Also, his default should be the idle. Let's see, I think he's got to go up. How many pixels is that? 4 pixels. There we go. And we can turn off our visible collision shapes finally. Ah, there we go. He jumps, he falls, he runs, and he idles. All good. That's it for now. I'll probably add some more functions a bit later. Maybe some rolling to get under this, or some wall climbing, or wall jumping. Not sure what I should do next. Probably rolling, but if you have any requests, let me know, and I'll code it and hopefully get it working well. Not in the next year, but in the next couple of months. And yeah, that's all for this one. See you next time, I guess.